Hello, everyone. This is Cece with Going Solo, and welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're the #1 singles internet talk network, and just really excited about that. I'm glad that you all are tuning in and enjoying our shows. If you don't catch us live here on Facebook and YouTube, just remember that our shows are all still on Facebook and YouTube, and they're also on Going Solo Media, which is right up here. See, goingsolomedia.com. So all of our information is right there for you. And if you want to send me an email, I'd love to hear from you because I read all of your emails that you send. It's goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. You can let me know if you have a problem, if you're, what you're going through. We'd love to be able to help you. And also, if you'd like to hear something new, we'd love to, what it is that you'd like to hear. But let's get on with our show today because we have a great guest here with us. We have Rebecca. Let's bring her up. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, Cece.
We have Rebecca Tatum, and we'll put up the information about her. She's got a long list of everything that she's done in her life, and she's an outstanding lady. But she has an honorary doctorate in ministry for the services to humanity. She was an RN, RNC, a BSN, a CCE. She was a captain in the United States Air Force. Thank you so much for your service, Rebecca. She was also in the reserves. She is an actor, a singer, a songwriter. She's an author and a radio personality and a host. And let me just sum it up. She is just a lovely, lovely lady. So thank you for coming on the show here with us. Can you hear us okay?
Thank you, Cece, for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, yes. It's great having you. You have done so much in your lifetime, you and your husband, John, and you have, what we're going to talk about today is the Ordinary Day, the Revelation rock opera. And you and your husband, have been a singer-songwriter, and your husband was quite famous guitarist, John Tatum. You really had a very full life together, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Wonderful.
Did. Yeah. Awesome. I know. I think
John is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. He was an original member of the Alice Cooper Band called the Earwigs and the Spiders. So being married to John was one of the great privileges of my life.
That's beautiful to hear. Yeah, his career itself, the journey of his career is pretty awesome, and but you've also played a big part of that, because I think you were also an inspiration for him, helping him get through some of the things, and probably, someone that's a songwriter, it's the everyday occurrences, the people that you're with, that inspire you to write the beautiful music that you write. So tell us a little bit about your journey on getting to the point where you're doing the rock opera. We're having a little trouble with her.
First of all, I am going solo now. My husband went to heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Just a little, there's a little lag, but we're okay. We're okay. Yeah.
So my story begins with a vision that God gave me. Now, John and I were friends for 9 months, Cece, and John did not tell me that he was a musician or he had a recording studio. Too many women had asked if they could record with him, and I wasn't interested because I had nothing to do with music, so that didn't interest me at all. But we were just friends. And I was a scientist at Amgen, and I've had the great privilege of doing many wonderful things in my life. I have a lot of initials by my name. At the end of the day, it's just me. But I've had a very wonderful life. I was very driven. I like to work hard. And so I was able to get a lot of stuff done. Now, the funny thing is, I was a scientist at Amgen. And I said, okay, Lord, love it here. This is where I'd like to spend the rest of my career. And I want to just keep doing science. And Cece, God had a good laugh that day, because that was not at all his plan for me for the rest of my life. And literally, it was within a year I left the job. I was fired. It surprised me, but um, I was fired. I was devastated. I became homeless for a period of time. It was one of those times where I did not understand what season I was in. And I went on a camping trip with some disabled kids as their nurse. And I was in literally laying in the sleeping bag in the dark of the woods. You could only see a crack of light in the tent. The lady that I was in the tent with, she was blind. She could not see. She did not know I was laying there crying out to God. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know how to even pay for anything. I lost my job. I feel like I've lost everything, and I feel hopeless. And I'm wondering, God, what am I supposed to do? And Cece, literally, I can say this now. It took me a long time to be able to tell people this, but he literally, through the crack of the tent, a CD spinning in the air came into the room or the tent on the wings of an angel. And at that moment, I knew I was supposed to do music, but it wasn't just ordinary music. It was a special CD he had for me to do. And I said, okay, God, I see it. Now I'm real scared because it was a real vision. I said, please take it away. So he did.
Well,
And he
I
sat
think
in
that's
all.
true. Like in a lot of our lives, I'd like to touch on that. So many people that are listening to this are going through tremendous challenges in their life. Whether they're, you know, money challenges or relationship challenges or all of those things, and they're trying to grasp for something to hang on to, and the reality is the core of your beliefs, your core system and who you are. We had a wonderful host on our Author's Corner. Erin McCormick wrote a beautiful book, and really very inspiring, and just like what you have experienced, you know, evolves, going down into your quiet space, understanding your core and asking for help. And and it certainly did prove to work for you. Can you?
Cece, I would never have told that anyone that I had just had a vision. When I was at the bottom of the ladder, I was on the last rung. I was ready to fall off and go into an abyss. I literally hadn't been at that place in my life before where I had lost so much. And I literally had no idea how to sustain myself, feed myself, where I was going to live. I was homeless, and I was hopeless, and I was helpless. And I share this with you so openly and honestly, if that's okay, because I want to acknowledge that I think there's a lot of people that are out there right now in that very position because of what we've gone through over this last year. And I want you to know that there are seasons in our life that are more difficult than others. But I want you to know, like me, I just asked for help. I said, help me. That is my favorite prayer. God help me. And I
Mhm.
heard from him. And we have a Father in heaven who loves us, CC, and he sees. And he counts the hair on our head. Can you imagine? And he knows what you're going through. And I am telling you the story about the vision because if it didn't come true, I wouldn't have anything to chat about. But here is that vision live.
It's amazing.
And we'll get to that story in a minute. But God does have a plan for people in whatever season of your life you're in. And don't give up hope, and don't give up asking for help. And don't put yourself in the driver's seat anymore when you're in that position, if I might add, because literally I would have driven myself off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And
as it
turned out,
again, that's what
Cece,
the author said too, is like to just turn it over to knowing that there is that it's going to happen for you, and like you believe in God, you approached God, you talked to him, and from deep down in, gave you that knowing that you're on the right path with what you're doing now with the disc.
it looked pretty off. It looked awful. It felt creepy. It was terrible. It was terrifying. And I kind of know that some of us are there right now, but and it's so funny, Cece, because the next thing I did, nobody else saw that me. My roommate was blind. She was one of the disabled kids, and she couldn't see what happened in that tent. And the next day, I actually ran up to the phone. We put the kids in the pool for a minute, and I actually ran to the phone. And who did I call? I called John. I didn't even know he was a famous musician. He didn't tell me. And I shared with him what happened. And I said, music, John, God wants me to do music. I said, I don't know anything about music. And Cece, that's when he told me he did, that he was a professional musician and that he had a recording studio. And my eyes were open because God caught me in the palm of his hand, and he had everything set up for me. And he had an amazing, wonderful man, amazing, wonderful career, although it was totally new to me. And I had to go back to school, and there were so many blood, sweat, and tears during that process. It's not like it comes easy, but it comes. And God caught me, is what I want to just share with people. He will catch you. He's there. There is an alternative plan when the one you're on doesn't work. There is another storm of ideas out there from the creator of the universe. And even though your career is something you love, which I loved mine, maybe there's something else you will love. I mean, I have to tell you, music became one of the greatest passions of my life.
That's amazing because, at the beginning you weren't even singing, you weren't even doing anything like that. And then now you have beautiful music out there. I listened to some of your music and it was gorgeous. Beautiful voice, absolutely gorgeous voice. And so, it is amazing that, we don't really always understand the plan, that what we're going to be going through, how we're going to be experiencing life. And what difficulties we're going to experience to maybe bring the goodness to light, because without some of the dark times, we wouldn't have the goodness, right? We wouldn't have the light. Are you still breaking up? I think you're breaking up. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with us. The internet is giving us a little bit of a trouble here.
So I'm moving, Cece. Forgive me. I'm moving to try to make it better.
Okay. We're just going with the flow. We're trying to make it happen.
So is that better?
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see.
Here, plug it in.
Ah, damn.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah. But I tell you what, as you're moving around, you've got some great pictures. I don't know if you can, it's a shame we're not still shotting those, because those are some great pictures of you. So now we got the ceiling, of course, but yeah, some of those are really nice. Like, that's a good picture of you. So.
Well, you know what? I was a radio host for a long time. There are interruptions, but I believe that somebody who needs to hear this message will hear it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And if we continue to have trouble, what we can do is just have you call in, and I can just have you, or I'll give you my phone. You can just call in and we can just do it on voice one. We can do voice. We just won't have you on the picture.
Okay. I have the number and I have an alternative phone.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, it seems like it's a little
Is
better
it
here.
better?
Yeah, it's better. But I think this is an important message.
Okay.
And so even
Well,
if we're
let's go
having
on.
little struggles, it's worth it.
Well, life is
Yeah.
a struggle, Cece, and we got to keep moving. We got to keep going. We got to keep trusting. We got to just pick ourselves up every day. We got to put one foot in front of the other. And during that mysterious time of my life, it just seemed like life was so ugly. I was also a broken person. And
Mhm.
yet God chose me to do something beautiful, like this amazing music with this amazing message.
Mhm.
So God uses our brokenness to see, to allow us to find others who will us and help make us whole.
Mhm.
And in doing so, if we find our purpose, it's the perfect match.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree. So you went on then to make a CD, right? With in John's studio. Mhm. And
Well, John and I both put out music. We
Mhm.
put out their albums, and he got honorable mentions from Billboard. So John did well. Good writer, great guitar player, the best of the best. Most people that knew him and knew about his music knew at what a high level he operated and played. He was a genius.
Mhm.
Um, but John and I knew that it wasn't an album we were supposed to put out. God wanted something very special from us. And we both felt a call to get out an album with a message about the end of times. And that's what the rock opera, An Ordinary Day, the Revelation rock opera is. In the Bible, the end of times is most explained in the book of Revelation. And this
Mhm.
rock opera is 25 songs covering the 22 books of Revelation, plus an overture, an underature, and an invitational at the end. That's where the other 3 songs come from. But
Mhm.
the thing I love most about it is that I felt such a passion, Cece, once I became an artist and we became musicians and we became performers and we did many, many wonderful things. We had many wonderful opportunities. John was
Mhm.
a really awesome live player, and I like live as well.
Mhm.
Put out an album of that, but the deep purpose and call of our lives was to get this rock opera, because people don't listen to preachers, they don't listen to parents, but they listen to rock and roll, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, rock and roll.
it was
Rock and
our
roll never goes out of
life's
style.
mission.
Mhm. Excuse me. Yeah, they never rock and roll never
Go
goes out of
on.
style. People do listen to it. Yeah, for sure. Mhm. Yeah.
Never,
Hmm.
never. So,
Yeah. I just love the
so
idea
to
that
say that
you have a
something
purpose.
that
Hmm.
was the dream, our
Hmm.
dream come true, CC, I can tell you right, it's a miracle. I'm a walking.
Think. Wait a minute here. Here we go. Sorry, I thought we lost you. Sorry.
Okay. We still there?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I'm having a coughing attack. I don't know why. It's just hit me today, the coughing. So I do apologize. But you're right, with regards to finding your purpose, we all have something in life. And sometimes it's even when we least expect it, in the darkest times, we can reach out to our higher being. And for me it's God, for you it's God, someone else it could be something else. And but there's answers there, and deep down we know the answers, right? So we realize that there's a purpose in our lives. We just have to tap into that to be able to move forward in our lives. And, and I know you've had some really dark times, losing John, having him pass on, and adjusting to being single is not an easy task in itself. But your path that you have now, making this beautiful music and honoring his legacy, is tremendous. I'm so sorry, guys. Her internet is just,
As a solo woman.
yeah, we're really having trouble with your internet. What
Yeah,
we're going
as
to
a
do is let's
single
go on a
woman
break.
solo now in
Yeah, let's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my number here let me put it in the private chat. Okay, can you see that in the private chat? So if you just get that number and call me on my phone, and we'll just have you through on the audio. And meantime, we'll take a break while we can get that done. Okay. I think that's the best thing, because I think we're missing important information. I don't want anybody to miss out on that. So we're going to go to a break. Give me a call and we'll set it up. Okay. Gosh, you guys, I'm really sorry about, the internet, we can't control it. We love it. We can't be without it. And we're thankful to have it. But the problem is sometimes it just doesn't work out. So you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Going Solo with Cece show. I am Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of relationship building. And you know what? Whatever happens to us, whatever hurdles we have to get through, we will get through them and we'll move forward. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, especially with our wonderful guest, Rebecca Tatum, on the Ordinary Day, the revelation of rock opera. And we're going to have her back, maybe have her call in or see if we can work out something. But I'm going to put the commercial on for you. I hope that you will appreciate the people that we have on our commercials, because they support us and we want to honor and respect them. So thank you so much for listening to us. We'll be right back here. Me, I have my speaker on. Okay, we're back. And you know what? Tonight is one of those crazy nights, and we're just going to go with it. And we're not going to worry about what works and what doesn't work, because it's what's important in life, and that's for sure. So you guys were listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and this is the Going Solo with Cece show. I have our wonderful guest on the phone with me, so you're just going to be seeing me, not her pretty face. So I am terribly sorry about that. And hopefully we'll be able to get this going here so we can talk. I'm not sure if you guys heard everything that she said at the beginning, but we're going to tackle it as we go here. But again, we're talking about Ordinary Day, the revelation of rock opera. We have our wonderful guest on the phone here with us, Rebecca Tatum. I mean, she has done a lot of wonderful things in her life. She was a captain of the U.S. Air Force and also the reserves. We want to thank her for her service. She has an honorary doctorate in ministry for service of humanity. She's an actor, singer, songwriter. She's an author, a radio personality, and a host. And she's also the widow of John Tatum, and both them together made beautiful music together. So let's talk a little bit further about that. Can we, Rebecca? Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to put my phone right next to the mic so it can get picked up. So anyhow, let's talk a little bit more, because you were telling us about your journey in life and how the struggles that you had, and that you were in a tent, really homeless, not realizing what was going to happen to you and where you were going to go in life. And then you got a vision. You felt like God, well, you know for certain God gave you a sign that of what to do in your future. And then you called John, not realizing John Tatum is a very successful in his own right and had his own recording studio. Then you guys started, putting together the album, making music. So let's go back and recap a little bit on the Ordinary Day, the Revelation Rock Opera, and tell us again what that is, because we were breaking up there, so I want to make sure the audience hears it.
Well, again, thanks for finding an alternative way to do this, and I can talk fast, and I don't go away easily, so I'm just really still very happy to be here. And, some of the shows that I used to do, because I was a radio host, the ones that were the most trouble, there was a very good message there, and the trouble goes away, but the message stays. And so, Cece, the message that I'm hoping comes across to people is that there's always hope. And no matter what season of your life that you're in, if you turn to a power greater than yourself, for me, it's the Lord God, my Father, I call him. And I cried out to him and I asked him, my favorite prayer again is, God help me. He showed me that I had a significant album in my future when I was a scientist. And he had all the pieces all around me, because my friend from choir, John, was the musician that I ended up marrying with a recording studio, and he and I both had a passion for this one topic. Well, what are the end of times, and what's the best way for people to learn about it? And so we knew that the albums we released were great, wonderful, and all that stuff, and I'm so thankful. But we knew we had a greater purpose. And when I found out the will of God for my life was this significant album that he called us to do, I want to tell you, like a dog with a bone, I never let go of it. I never let go, Cece. And there were a lot of things that got in the way. But when I knew what God's will was, I set my feet on course and I simply never gave up. And that's why it was the album that we showed you guys in the beginning. What God's vision was to me became John's passion too, John's call too. And it actually is an album now because we never gave up.
Yeah. And that, that in itself is a huge message, because so often people want to throw in the towel or whatever. And when they have a sense of what they're supposed to do, their purpose, they don't necessarily follow that. And so it's very important to know that, and to let it go, don't get in your own way, and believe in, of course, your higher power, and believe in yourself, that you can project and move forward in your life. So, I mean, this is a beautiful message that you're sharing. I want to thank you so much for sharing your journey and everything. It's as rough as it was, like you said, it's not something easy that you can share, but it's something that's going to change lives and make a huge impression on those out there. So I totally agree.
Well, along the way, John and I knew we had to be really excellent in our study of the Bible to get the stuff right, because it may be the most misunderstood book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, right? Ooh, mystery, And so, there are things in there. You have to look a lot of different places to figure out, well, what does this mean? We both got our doctorates along the way, and our editor is also a doctorate, and he's also the National Director of Education Sciences for the White House, and he's also a #1 best-selling author and historian. We had a lot of awesome people join. It's a very auspicious group of people that was on this project. And for anybody out there who's ever done a project with anyone, maybe you will understand this. We had to agree on every word before it was released. Every word of 25 songs.
Wow.
Because they were so important, because we wanted the message to be real and true and sincere. And we had to go back and we had to do 2 lines.
All right. And so we had to go back into the recording studio and finish the 2 lines to make sure we all agreed. But when we were done, every person on this project agreed on every single word that is sung. And that is just a really true, I've never had anything like that. Most people disagree about a lot of things. So that was just a joy to actually know, okay, you know, we did it. And when that album was done, Cece, I want you to know it was one of the best days of my entire life, because I found out that when God showed me a vision and that was his will, and like a dog with a bone, I held on and I would not let go, that God's will was done in my life. That is the most special thing that's ever happened to me. It was done. It got done.
That's amazing. It is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I want to just let your audience know it's not always, you know, Guns N' Roses comes to mind, the rock and roll group. It's not always, you know, fun and roses along that journey of getting it done. And unfortunately, my husband, who was a genius, and he impressed me. And that man's knowledge, he had a great deal of the Bible memorized. And that man's knowledge was just incredible. Many look to John for a lot of different reasons and as a resource for a lot of different things. And unfortunately, my husband, John, got dementia and Alzheimer's, and he had it for 10 years. And I was his solo caregiver, taking care of him alone for 10 solid years. Now, let me tell you 2 things about that. How in the world is the guy with dementia supposed to get this album done? We said the same thing to God so many times. We were heartbroken. We had a recording studio in our home, but after a while, Cece, he could not remember how to do it. Fortunately, John had written the scores to the songs. We did many of them. John had written the scores, and they were there. Even the handwritten ones are still so beautiful to me today. And then the second thing that happened is, as his solo caregiver, and it had to be that way. And, you know, for anybody who's going through this situation, the family can be a help or they can be a hindrance. And since they were a hindrance, I had to do it alone. It was much easier. Although there were times, and they told me this over and over again, Rebecca, you're not going to make it. You will not survive. Not one single spouse that takes care of a person with dementia from beginning to end lives. You'll be the first to go. And that's why I made that statement, I'm a walking miracle. I said to them several times, I love you. I thank you. I know. I feel it. What do you want me to do? And I'm just going to give you a little heart-wrenching story. It was hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got a lot of the music done, but Cece, one day I sat in my prayer chair and I said, literally, God, you love me. You love John. And I had hope that he would be healed. I know it sounds crazy, but it's better to live a life filled with hope. I had hope that he would be healed until he breathed his last breath. Now I know he's well, because in heaven he's well.
Yeah.
But I still had hope. But one day I sat down in my prayer chair and I said, God, I'm exhausted. I'm up around the clock. I have but one heartbeat left in me, and then I'm gone. I said, if that's what you want from me, Father, I'm okay with it. But who is going to finish this, and who is going to get this done? And it was a lot of sacrifice, Cece, to be a caregiver. Oh, my God. Such sacrifice. And John loved me dearly, and he was so grateful. But it was difficult, and towards the end, it was becoming increasingly difficult. God spoke to me that day, and he doesn't do it all the time. So when he does, I know it's special. And that day he said to me, John will take care of you now. And when I tell you he has. It was 2 weeks later he passed away. His team of musicians that he knew kicked it into gear for one solid year to finish this project to honor my husband's memory.
Oh.
And it is spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
He left me with the home paid for, car paid for. That man worked for those things. He was not born with a silver spoon. He worked, and he set it up to where I could go on.
Mm-hmm.
He also left me with a life I love, doing a project I love, talking about the end of times through this message of rock and roll that makes grown men cry, I love.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's wonderful.
Now, it's not easy to lose your best friend. It's not easy to be in this strange time, and I'll just call it the COVID mess, alone.
Mm-hmm.
But Cece, I've learned something about going solo right now. I finally belong to myself, and I trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the happiest person that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong about being alone. For a minute there, I was freaked out. Oh my God, I got to do this alone. But again, I'm going to punt the ball right back to the Lord God Almighty. I am not alone.
Right. You're really not. And then when you connect with people that truly honestly care, that want to help you move forward and get your music out there, you're really not. I mean, we often think that we are alone, but it's really the connection. We need to continue with our connection. And you're so right. I'm afraid we're going to have to try to wrap this up and because so much time has gone by, but let's make sure we share with everyone. Again, it's the Ordinary Day, the Revelation of Rock Opera. And you can find all of the information on the tatumnetwork.org. So that's the website. It's the THE, then Tatum, TATUM, network, NETWORK.org, O-R-G. So that's the website. She's got a wonderful Facebook group, which again is called the Tatum Network. And then you can also connect with her on Twitter. It's the Tatum Network at Tatum Network. So, try to connect with her that way. So wonderful show here, Rebecca Tatum. Thank you so much for all that you've given us. Is there any last words you'd like to say in closing out to our listeners?
Yes. I want to just leave a last message about the strange times that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just say to everybody, I feel that in the craziest time that I've ever lived in, I feel more sane.
Mm-hmm.
You can too.
Mm-hmm.
And in the craziest time that we have ever lived in, I have more peace and I have less fear. You can too. That's what Revelation says.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to just leave everybody with the website for the rock opera, www.revelationrockopera.com. Again, that's www.revelationrockopera.com. I'm encouraging you to listen because the Bible says anyone who listens to the book of Revelation receives a blessing. And I am blessed because of it.
And there's how many songs are in the Revelation? 25. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to,
That's a lot.
A lot of goodness that will fill your well, because I'm always saying all the time, you just got to keep feeding in good stuff, good information into yourself to be able to move forward in your life. And that's very, very important. So I love this. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we had the glitch with the internet. You're a blessing yourself and such a spark and a light for many. So thank you very much, Rebecca.
It is what it is. And thank you, Cece. Now, God, do more with it than even Cece and I thought possible.
Mm-hmm.
Your will be done on this show.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you very much. Okay, everyone, you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I'm Cece Shatz, the host of Going Solo with Cece. Thank you so much for bearing with us. This is a wonderful show, and I hope that you'll go to the websites, the Revelation Rock Opera janettatumnetwork.com, and then also the janettatumnetwork.org. And so go there. If you need any further information, you can email me right on goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. We'll make sure you get all the information that you need. I think this is very important for you to be able to really enlighten your life, make sure that you're moving on the path in which you choose, and it is there for you. So thank you so much for being on the show here with us today. Thank you, Rebecca, so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Cece.
Okay, bye everyone. Bye.